Some people are having difficulty accessing the app. Can somebody get that, please? Thanks. Hey, Karen, great to see you. Hey, hey.
You want some water? Ice? You know what to get water for like some?
Probably could figure it out.
Yeah, paper, scrap paper and pens, but it's
That's good.
yeah. So then we're gonna be over here, I'll be here recording them. And I have a bunch of people from all over the country. For Glove is gonna. So we can watch the training. Download. Oh, and I'd like to give you a local mic. So that you can get good sound. It's going to be recording, but open in.
Okay, so I'm going to ask all of you to mute yourselves while we're doing the training, and at points where you have questions, please type them into the chat, and I will be observing the chat, and I will convey your questions unless there's a specific time when we can ask questions, okay? That's the purpose, is for there to not be background noise which interferes with the training. Sounds good? Thank you. I see you all muted. Excellent. Perfect. You read my mind.
I'll start recording whenever you're done and cut out when you want to
Start now. Find out. Should wait for a couple of minutes.
So, oh,
Yes.
we have an agenda for today. Yeah. So the restroom is over there. The kitchen is around the corner. There are like some cups and water.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it together,
You're doing well. I guess can help you out. And I know that, Kara, you wanted the people punch.
yeah.
I'm guessing it's. But not sounds like her.
Hello. Which corner? Which one? That one. Hold on. Thank you. Sure. Sorry?
I figured that was you.
Oh, there's Kara. The last time Serena just arrived, I'm like, you guys need to talk about this watercolor. But now I guess we're gonna have to think about it. So Dominic, if you stand by that window right behind you, you'll be good. What?
Okay. Thank you. Let me take my phone. Lexi won't be here for like a half an hour. She got stuck on a project she had to finish at work, so she said start without her. She's on her way, but it'll be like a half an hour, she said.
And I can squeeze right here.
So Lexi says.
I'm emailing you the agenda if you want to start.
Great.
So. Then you want me to get started?
Yes,
Oh, really?
go ahead and get started.
One of the French benefits. Never do that.
We'll be standing.
Such wonderful technology.
You said this pulled out now that that thing's off?
Yep. There you go. Good? Well, I said it pulls out. Doesn't mean it pulls out for you. Oh, no, no, Serena. You understand this is all like being recorded. What? You don't good? Okay.
So welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out, and the folks that are around the country on the stream, thank you for joining as well. So we're going to do some quick introductions, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we can formulate the conversations we can have when we're going face-to-face with people, trying to get people to sign. For you lucky folks that are here, we're going to do some role plays as well.
Excellent.
For you folks that are watching this streaming, you can practice with your friends at home or with your significant others or otherwise. And then I'd say we should set some goals because that's always fun. It kind of helps to bring you guys together as some people localized here. They're going to be working in Columbus on this. And it can keep you competitive. And we're going to talk a little bit about targets, like places here that are going to be coming up that you guys can go out and do this at and brainstorm them out and kind of list it out. So I'm Dominic Mendiola. I work with a group called the For Our Future Fund. We're a 501c4 and a super PAC. And my job is basically to assist organizations or activist groups that are emerging. If they want to do field work, if they want to do communications work, we're here to support them in any way that we can. Empower them long term to hopefully turn battleground states more blue in 2018 and 2022. My background is in labor organizing and in community organizing. I've gathered petition signatures for city ordinances, put them on the ballot, and then also for list building campaigns, similar to this one. Basically, we're trying to build a list of activists that you guys can activate down the line for. So let's just very quickly kind of go around the room and introduce ourselves.
Hold on. Do we want to do some video? We can probably pause introductions.
Oh, look about the introduction.
We all pause introductions. I can go first. I'm Agnes Fishnakin, and I'm a co-founder of Intentional Insights, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, so we're nonpartisan. And this project is nonpartisan, and welcome to our home. With the organization has been for 3 years, and we're all volunteer nonprofit. I'm a board member, so is Bill, is also my husband, and Serena is a long-term board member, and we have at least one board member also on the call.
Yes.
Welcome. And thanks for being here.
And if you could please share any prior experience that you have, if you have like signature gathering or door-to-door work or anything like that.
My name is Doug Dyer. I'm a sales guy.
Okay.
So
There's overlap.
yeah, there's overlap. I worked on the Obama campaign So I did a lot of phone calling
All right.
to get people to volunteer, and it was mostly generating volunteer work.
Okay.
And I would send it to the various parts of the organization. But I've been a salesman since I was 18.
Okay. Excellent.
I am Serena. I don't have any experience with running or with getting signatures. I have a lot of experience with saying no.
All right.
You have sales experience.
Yes, I do have self-experience. I was with Primerica for about 6 months and dropped it because it was not, I was not getting money as quickly as I was getting it in all the training sessions. So I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And also I work in retail. Upselling. Yay. And, I've been back to this long since I was 16. Protests from Vietnam against the Vietnam War. And after that, in the 80s, I got involved with animal welfare and environment. So I was looking for a shelter, and I realized I got an education with animal abuse and endangered species. So, we protested travelers conventions, and then I worked for an organization in defense of endangered species, and also for the Sierra Club. Protesting, writing letters mostly, and then for the Kerry campaign and the Obama campaign, I worked with Democratic headquarters and just kind of routing the calls of the correct person, answering basic questions. And the reason I stopped doing environmental activism was that I got tired of people yelling in my face and cussing me out. After so long, it really got to me. I was exhausted, mentally, and had to take a break. So I feel like I'm ready to go in for it again, to expose myself to punishment again, because I really believe in this cause.
Great.
Not, I don't believe so.
Maybe sounds again.
I don't think so.
Something's like Thanks. We'll look for the source. Thanks.
Mhm.
Awesome. Hopefully less pressing than first reflection.
I've gotten a little tougher since then.
Excellent.
There was a lot of support around me.
We'll have left.
So I'm Charlotte, and I recently returned from Australia. I'm a former journalist, former chaplain, and I've been involved in different movements over the years. I campaigned for Obama. I was the director of the Center for Peace and Justice in Georgia back in the late 80s. I started the Center for Central America. All that was going on where we were supporting alongside everything that was going on there. And this is the first thing that I got involved with when I got back, because past 50, it seems to me that one of the biggest issues we have going on in society is a lack of understanding for the truth and integrity, and realizing that you can't keep looking at problems through the clouded perspective of alternative truths and interpretations. So for me, this doesn't matter what application you're applying this to. Well, there are way too many things out there to support, I guess, that do good things in society, and I just think this will help all of them. Journalism the really good preparation. Well, it's very old style journalism. It's not really what's accepted as journalism now. So, yeah, I mean, I have a hard time. I mean, it's just murky water like anything else now. It used to be that you could pick up a newspaper and read what you were reading it, and now there's so many resources for getting your news, and I think this is the problem that everybody has. You know, who has the time to vet all these things and know that they're getting the real facts? And I think that's why we need something like a Pro-Truth Pledge and a resource where people can look to that they can trust. Because there's just too much to sort out right now without a help you go to first.
True that. So the Pro-Truth Pledge brings us back perfectly. So we're going to talk about, we're going to basically boil the Pro-Truth Pledge down into an elevator speech and just like your pitch wrap, more or less, of what the Pro-Truth Pledge is. So it's a very complex topic. It has lots of moving pieces, and we just need to boil it down all the way. So we're just going to facilitate through this. So we're going to start with the what, and then we'll move on to some other. So what is the Pro-Truth Pledge to you guys here? What is it?
Well, we read it out and read through.
Okay,
So am I supposed to expand on that?
so we printed it out. We can read it, but we need to boil all those words down into exactly what. So you can give it to people and say, "This is what you're signing." Yeah. So we're gonna throw words up here, and then we're gonna take words off and add other words and put together a very concise statement of what the Pro-Truth Pledge is. We're just building a wrap, building like your pitch.
Saying that I'm going to be anti-misinformation and anti-spin. That you know, I want somebody to give me what's real and a justification for their perspective that comes out of facts, not how I can manipulate them. It's not a manipulation of reality.
Of reality. So what's the Pro-Truth Pledge?
The process for arriving at truth.
Process.
Despite our own biases. We're in spite of our own biases.
In spite biases. Yes.
Not sharing information from here unless we fact check it and make sure that, checking against several news media outlets and just not share anything unless we are sure it's true.
So fact checking our info, not sharing unless we know it's true. Anyone else? Yes.
I'd say that it's like pro-facts.
Pro-facts.
And one thing that I'm aware of as we were drafting it, we have had a lot of significant minority of people push back on the word truth. Because they're like, well, what's to say? Like, am I good looking? You tell me I'm not good looking.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subjective on what is facts and how you can have facts and spin at the same time, and that it's not taking away anyone's like right of speech, like free speech. They can say whatever you want, and the truth that we're saying is like actually very narrow and it can sometimes coexist with spin. It's like, yes, there's global warming. You can say there's no global warming if you sign a pledge. So I guess like I would like to like come up with a quick way to say that and to kind of preempt some of the people that have, like, within the organization, is going to kind of struggle to get reconciled that the truth is such narrow definition here. I guess like that was it. That's where.
So I want to get a little bit of the other aspect. It's about changing our society. It's about changing the incentives, looking the floor to get people to not lie and giving them rewards for honesty and punishments for dishonesty, especially for public figures. So at a very fundamental level, it's holding people, especially public figures, accountable. It's creating a community of people who are holding others accountable and holding themselves accountable, and for creating standards around that. It's also about changing the gotcha game, in like, oh, you said everything that's not gotcha, or kind of, what is this thing that's not gotcha? Instead, it's orienting toward being empathetic and communication around the truth and celebrating the updating. So creating positive emotions and empathetic and challenge others and being generous toward them, and sharing both toward them and empathetic. So those are some other important things to talk about.
So we got some keywords coming up in Gleb's comments, like accountability, standards,
Also behaviors, and it's about behaviors.
behaviors,
You can strive for good behaviors and
pro-truth,
get better.
honesty, changing the system in society. So what's the
empathy, yeah.
So what's the objective? So a lot of this is process, but what is the objective of the pro-truth project?
Well, for me, one of the reasons I joined the project was because coming from a mediator background, you have to know, like, where you can stand together.
Okay.
To me, saying that we're all going to be pro-truth gives us a starting place, something we can agree on. When we can agree on what that narrow truth or fact is, then that helps us like know where we're trying to get from, that we might be able to go together. But when everybody's using their version of the truth to accomplish another goal, instead of just seeing an agreed upon truth as a central goal, we're more separated. So for me, there's the possibility of more unity. Because we do pare down and we get to that very succinct truth. And then we build from there as a starting place.
Like establishing a baseline.
Yeah, yeah.
Long term, I'd like to think it leads to better public policy.
Okay, so there we go. Better public policy,
And better with public discourse.
better public policy, discourse.
So we can go back to kind of, I think, a part of me is like, I wish it was so basic that people would not go out on TV and Twitter go against basic scientific facts.
Mhm.
So we can get back to like nuance, where it's hard to say whether it's actually fact.
Mhm.
I want to go back to that place. So that we can just like debate methodology or opinions, or like, well, what's your take on this policy? What's my take on this policy? You can't go there if people are just like steamrolling, kind of like mudslinging over basic facts.
Getting people even to recognize
Yeah.
what's the difference between an actual fact as truth and, an opinion, an interpretation.
I send the photographs in the Facebook chat. So everyone who is watching on camera, who's watching here, you can go to the Facebook Messenger chat and you can see the photographs. I know it's hard for you to see them very clearly. Okay, that's time for Meta, or you can drop something, and then we can go back to the conversation. Okay.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, we can go back to like the basic facts, that used to be more like standard, but now it's not.
Mhm.
I just want to go back to like boring.
You were saying something.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm confused by the public perception sort of across the board anymore that like it's just not even possible to discern the truth. That's kind of a lot of people, it's become apathetic. People don't even know what the truth is anymore. Yeah. So give up, and I want to restore the hope
Yeah.
that we can sort out.
At least.
Yeah.
There's someone, Carl Baker, is saying on the chat that he's a, we're a culture shift, a rejection of postmodernism.
Yeah.
orientation toward reason and enlightenment. So can better govern ourselves and succeed as people.
I don't want to live in a post-truth society.
You want to move away from that.
So accountability, standards, behaviors, pro-truth, honesty, changing the system and society, standing together, central goal, unity, establishing a baseline, better public policy, discourse, basic facts, hope, reason, and enlightenment. All right, so we have a good word bank here to start with. So how do we plan on trying to make this, these things like central goal, standing together, accountability, behaviors, hope, facts, reason, honesty? How do you plan to accomplish that? The objectives of those things.
Try to make it fun.
Okay.
He points out that there have been lies told every political party. In fact, all, a lot of politicians, first sides. So, no matter what side you're on, hold the truth, even if it's something that you believe is, because it goes against something that you believe for your political beliefs.
Mm-hmm. The nonpartisan what? So how is like the action that we're going to have, or like the global shift that how are we going to be nonpartisan?
Talking about lying in public discourse in general. I think in one of his talks, he gave some example of where Hillary Clinton lied about something. I don't remember what it was. But in talking to conservatives, it kind of told them that he wasn't, that he sort of understood them.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it more credible when he points out the lies of all sides.
Yeah, this isn't, we don't have a political agenda to promote one political party over the other. Truth is what we're promoting.
So how are you promoting truth?
You're asking about tactics.
Yes, like actual substantive tactics.
So
By signing this piece of paper, how am I creating accountability? How am I changing the system? How am I?
it's not just signing a piece of paper. You have to go out and get the idea spread on social level, raising awareness of this movement in general.
Okay.
And
Raising awareness.
spreading it amongst other people who are willing to do the same thing until it becomes a part of the conversation.
Okay.
I mean, we need to have this be something that people recognize as, and that's a big goal. But I mean, if you walk down the street and ask 10 people about the pro-choice, you know what it is. I mean, we need to have at least 3 or 4 of those people know what it is if this is going to be meaningful in the big picture.
It has to become synonymous with the truth.
Okay. So raising awareness, what's some synonyms for this, for raising awareness?
I just want to just part of the conversation. One is modeling the behavior that we want to be, and the other is Alex writes that we need to address fears that people have, that if we orient toward the truth, their values will be hurt. So that's reassure them, address their fears, show them that in the end, truth will not, maybe in the short run it might harm them, but in the long run, and so orienting toward addressing fears just to make this part of the conversation.
All right, so raising awareness, what are some synonyms for that? Publicize. Okay, so publicize, expose, promote, share, market. So that's the actual like nuts and bolts. That's like the tactics and strategy would be like raising awareness. How about educating? Educating? Okay.
Alex says getting attention and notice. I would say challenging.
Okay.
Would be something that goes involved. Another one that I would suggest is listening.
Okay.
Getting awareness of people's concerns and hearing them, reflecting on important.
Branding, part of raising awareness.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're raising awareness about, what are we raising awareness about?
Right now, the mood things.
About accountability.
things.
So these are the outcomes we're looking for. Reason, change in the discourse, change in the system, approach. But how are we raising awareness by listening, informing, branding, alike against what?
So, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, Carol. You wanted to say something? Is this Carol?
No, it's Jonathan.
Ah, Jonathan. Okay, Carol and you both.
So just getting a feel, I came in a little late here. A feel for the ideas, the how of it.
Mhm.
Okay, so in that aspect, I think that think of it in the sense of work. That say you're at a place that sells things, and what is the level of importance to the accuracy of the information that you're selling? In some companies, whether or not you dot all your I's and cross all the T's is less important than making the sale. Well, the culture of another company might be very different, where those are the things that they focus rather explicitly on. And there's a lot of cultural pressure to make sure that you make everything line up properly, that the person has all the information, that the part's the correct one that you're getting for the vehicle. You're not just going to sell them whatever the heck they're willing to buy. So I guess the idea then would be to influence various organizations in order to modify their existing culture so it's a shift geared towards the truth rather than just on salesmanship, rather than just on clickbait, rather than just on getting results, damn the reasons.
So the long-term consequences. Cool. Thank you. Okay.
How do we deal with spam? Or someone says something.
Well, let's go with this. And I have something raising awareness about people's psychological insecurities, biases, assumptions. So that's something about raising awareness.
So we're raising awareness to try to create accountability standards, honesty, baseline, public policy discourse, hope, reason, enlightenment. Is as a opposite of what? So we're raising awareness about honesty and the necessity for what?
So, speaking on the Medicaid reform bills that have been pushed around in Congress at the moment, that it seems that their emphasis is just passing something, regardless of the quality or the content of the thing in which they're passing. And I think that it would be one of those aspects we're trying to gear them towards doing the hard work of trying to research and understand the full implications of whatever policy is there. Now, it doesn't always have to be about the Republican ticket and what they're talking about, because again, this is that bipartisan side. But whenever it comes to any public official who's in a position of power for legislation, whether it's a city council or a school board, that they're making decisions that don't really dive down into what the truth is so that they can make effective policy.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Cool. So, and Alex added something similar, which is people are afraid of what will happen if they don't get results, and that's why they get cut corners and deceive. So not cutting corners, being authentic, being accurate, and the opposite of lies, skewed perceptions, misinterpretations, sloppy thinking, ignorance, groupthink, censorship. Folks who are on the call, if you can type your comments into the chat, that would make things more efficient. So, because there are other people here who are raising their hands, and so you just can't see them. So please type your comments into the chat. Thank you very much. Yes.
So you're asking, I want to clarify, like, you're asking, we want to spread the truth instead of the opposite thing, which is misinformation, lies, censorship, the things that Alex said. Yes?
Censorship.
Like, I think a lot of the antonyms that Alex gave were pretty accurate, actually.
Censorship,
Then,
spin, fake news.
alternative facts.
All the facts.
Motivated reasoning.
Infunded speculations.
All right.
I think it's the lines. You can stick next one on that window.
Sure.
Even further to follow this video.
So ultimately, we're talking about a mechanism for accountability. Accountability in everything. Accountability in, let's talk about scope. Accountability just in like greater public discourse, in intellectual discourse, in political discourse. What's the scope here?
I mean, you know, it's like, I don't have a problem with anyone having a position completely different than mine. I don't have a problem with anyone saying they think that climate change is not a thing, but what I want is that, okay, just be transparent then. Show me what you're basing that on. You know, it's be honest about why you're doing something, why you're trying to accomplish it, where you're really going. I really lost faith in, you know, government and politics is because I never really believed that what they're saying they're trying to accomplish is really even remotely close to the truth of why they're doing what they're doing.
And that goes to the like fact.
Yeah.
So this is in, I'm sorry, this is in politics alone, or is this?
No, everything. I
This
just
is in
think life
everything.
should be transparent.
Public discourse.
Yeah, but public discourse.
It's public discourse. Because we say
Right.
things in the life for things like religious discourse and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be just about politics. For me, I want it to be
public
about
discourse.
business,
It is about business.
Yeah.
I think that's the
About-
sphere.
right, government regulation. I mean, what's all that really about?
Anything that is available for you.
That affects, yeah. Public as a whole, yes.
Say what
Not
you
just
want.
one, right? Yeah, the public,
Or your church, that's the worship.
yeah,
So not in public discourse.
where we're communal, where we communally interact for the,
Yeah, public discourse, I think, is a natural phrase.
Yeah.
I think we want to focus on limited resources when we're doing that right now, especially in politics. Politics and media.
yes,
I think it will get better publicizing that way too.
Yes.
A little more attention.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a political issue.
we got some public deals the pledge, but mainly I think it's going to be, where we make the most ground in politics and media.
Oh, yeah.
People like that.
Politics feeds into government, feeds into trickle down into
Yes.
how our businesses are regulated and, yeah.
So if you're having a conversation with somebody on the street, do you want to say public discourse or do you want to say politics?
See, I don't know if the average person.
Are you approaching them as a political animal or are you approaching them as just a person in the world?
Might be easier to not have defense mechanisms come up if it's public discourse. If you start talking politics, you get automatic defense mechanisms psychologically.
What I find works well is because it says, what am I going to and
Are politics and government synonymous in those people?
yeah.
Is government the less?
People who understand politics. So we want to use words that emotionally resonate with people. I think people understand politics and post, fake news, Carlos talking about fake news. Fake news, fighting fake news is something that really works well. For example, I was like, I'm not sure that it's using. So that's an effective way of communicating. But it's neutral.
So public discourse, neutral, or politics goes both ways. Fighting fake news.
Yeah, I was
Fighting fake news. Okay. Yes.
I stand like, a lot of times politicians will say things that are absolutely true, but they only tell you part of the story. They want you to hear. Like today, Rand Paul was addressing the climate change policy pullout. He said, well, the scientists were wrong. Certain models that they had, they admitted, they didn't turn out exactly the way they predicted. What he didn't say was they didn't, but it turned out worse. Climate change is even happening faster than what they predicted. He didn't say that.
Or something as simple as Steve Snyder's saying when asked about the vote he took on the healthcare bill, what about the people on Medicaid? And why support Medicaid expansion? And yet he just voted for the healthcare bill that takes $800 billion out of Medicaid. So, for what it's worth, that's the kind of stuff that, I agree with you. That's the kind of stuff we need to be, in the big picture, that's what we're looking to stop, right? Sure.
So the trend that I think I'm picking up is that we're focusing on the political sphere. Our speech is about politics, we're not using public discourse, we're using politics and other life things.
Yeah, I think it's good calls.
At some point, we have to pick the language because language will mean different things to different people.
I think ultimately that's what this exercise is that we need to come up with an elevator speech and pick the language that feels the most comfortable and is going to appeal to the broadest number of people. Yeah, so it's, hi, I'm Dominic. Would you like to sign the petition to try to put truth back into politics? Would you like to sign the petition to try to put honesty back in politics? What is this exactly? So this is a petition. We're gathering people that want to put truth back in politics, bring accountability back, honesty back in politics. This is a way for us to start to communicate with people and to build a list around that. And then when they sign, hopefully you can give them something that's going to give them a little bit more in-depth. And then afterwards, you will hopefully follow up and get a little bit more in-depth and explain the idea out. But really, more or less, we just need to get people onto paper, and we need to do it in an ethical and honest way and have a very tight elevator speech. No, they don't,
No,
because
this
it's
is not
not,
actually a petition,
yes, it's not,
technically.
so we can
It's
call it
just like a
petition,
project.
or it could be a card, or however we want to, whatever one of the language we want to use.
I think we're gonna have.
Yes.
I understand that, but I think that's not so clear to people? I mean, so what are some other things you think about when you think about taking a pledge?
There's usually responsibility associated with it, correct?
Yes.
So one of the things is one of the ideal outcomes we like is behavior change for the people who take the pledge. We want them to do things like skeptical of their own beliefs and skeptical of information they internalize. And so we don't simply want them to push for active work in the world outside, but for the pledge to do active work on the inside.
Like anything that's worthwhile, it's not simple. It took me listening to an entire interview with you to get what you were trying to achieve. How we boil that down into a 30-second commercial, I've written plenty of my own. I don't know how we do that, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately,
we can basically scratch the surface and get them interested in having a deeper conversation.
that's really all this is.
So that, yeah,
Right.
Get their pen to paper and then save the longer conversation for later.
And we'll have like flyers, you know, read it on the website and at their leisure.
And then your outreach strategy behind that is yet to be determined or already determined.
I think the best and the brightest.
We are, so some of the people on this call, we are shaping our outreach strategy we're using on Instagram. So to send around newsletters, doing social media, starting out social media, or production of Facebook and so on. We have a Facebook group for people who are active supporters of the production pledge. We're on the Facebook. So, we're having events like this to get trained.
Excellent. Yeah. So let's just write an elevator speech. If you're walking down the street, what do you say to me to get me to sign? Yes.
Well, this is
I'm walking real fast. I already care about it. I don't need any help. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, we have a pledge that will help politicians be more truthful. The more people we sign up, the more politicians we can get more truthful.
Okay.
We need you to help us create leverage to get politicians to be more truthful.
And how do I do that?
Sign this and pay attention to the organization. I'm just talking off the top of my head, but yeah. I mean, this is the starting point. Sign up and to be a part of this process.
This is our virtual march on Washington.
Oh,
We're restoring the truth in our country.
one thing we've said is approach with movement.
Yeah, I think movement is, I think,
It's not a petition, it's a movement.
Yeah.
So it's lots of people
Right.
like leverage.
Right.
We need many people.
I mean, it's kind of like,
That kind of-
I don't know, the images that are jumping to my head are sort of like passing the torch of truth. You know, we're trying to illuminate the truth, highlight it. We're trying to shed light on this scary, like, dark hole we've gone into with believing that truth can't be divined anymore. And that's an untruth in itself. That's what the people who want to live not transparently want us to believe. They want us to believe that there is no one truth anymore, or, you know, that there aren't clear, clean facts about things. Because that makes it easier, you know, to.
Because we're alive.
Yeah,
Well, you know, our thoughts just go with whatever I say. and
Right.
my opinion.
I can just be persuasive. Doesn't matter if I'm
That's where we're
giving you true information. I can just be charming and persuasive and tell you what you want to hear. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alexei.
Hello, welcome. So
You can sit over there. There's a chair out there.
Either way, there's a between here and.
So to catch you up, we're doing an exercise to be able to write an elevator speech. So when we're out circulating the Pro-Truth Pledge, we can be as concise and to the point as possible around a very complex concept that has lots of moving parts. So the ask is, you know, hi, will you sign the Pro-Truth Pledge? And I say, what does that mean? What does that do?
So
Or what's the pro-truth pledge? What's this whole table about? What are you guys doing?
There's a question among the discussion of whether honesty or truth is better. My take is truth because it aligns with the truth pledge, but I want to kind of get people's opinions.
Evidence-based facts is what I would go with.
That's not
It's too
ordinary
much for 30-second elevators.
Okay.
not ordinary people's terms.
So like, our frame of reference is truth,
Truth fact.
truth.
True. Let's go with truth because I think it's emotionally more.
It's true, and then I love it, I don't know, just a fact.
Yes, and then we can talk about the details. Orienting toward truth, so we're going with truth. That's right, because it's emotionally motivated.
You pulled the words off the documents that I printed out here. From your pieces, share, honor, encourage.
Okay. Share. Honor.
Look for action words that they're going to connect with.
Encourage truth, correct? Share,
Yeah,
honor,
truth.
encourage truth
In politics.
in politics
We're going with politics on it.
by
Banding together. I'm just throwing out words here.
okay, yeah,
By creating a movement
okay.
Yeah.
of people who
Creating,
kind of do what Michelle said, who like
now we're
believe that some facts are kind of,
creating a
that
movement.
when you feel like agree on that one, some facts. And I don't know what it is.
But I think demanding the truth in politics is like taking
Really,
back
I like that
the
though.
people's
Truth in
power.
politics by,
Creating a movement to hold people accountable. That's really good.
yeah, now we're getting truth in politics. So we have honor, encourage truth in politics by banding together, creating a movement to demand truth in politics. And you said accountability. So let's talk a little bit about who too, because this might come up in conversation. So who are you? You an activist group, you a working group, you a nonprofit organization,
Non-partisan,
nonpartisan nonprofit?
intentional sex nonprofit.
Yeah.
Approach with pledge is like one of its projects.
So this is obviously the official. What's a
Movement, I think, is good.
movement is
We
good?
talk about we are 100 people who are committed to sharing, honoring, encouraging the truth, creating a community around cultivating the truth, holding people accountable, holding liars accountable, fighting fake news. On all sides, nonpartisan, kind of, all sorts of.
I think the nonpartisan should definitely be.
Okay. Nonpartisan movement. Okay.
That holds individuals specifically focusing towards politicians to
Individuals and politicians.
It'd be the majority of politicians, but obviously if there are individuals who are spreading information, whether it's lobbyists or people who just influence others. Yeah, media, yeah, exactly. Leaders.
Individuals, media, and politicians.
Yeah. Accountable to the truth.
Accountable to the truth. Hmm. So we have lots of words here. Lots of words.
So I have something that covers everything except who we are. I don't know how to work who we are, but I got the phrases that rang most strongly to me. All right, so It says, sorry, I have stage fright.
That's all right.
The camera.
It says, we need you to help create leverage to bring truth and accountability back into politics. This is the creation of a movement of the common people to share, honor, and encourage the spread of truth in politics. Our virtual march in Washington helps bring the truth back into the political arena. By signing this pledge to share, honor, and encourage the truth, you can help create pressure on our politicians to be like this.
Excellent. I think it's great. What do you guys think? I think that's what you put. I think that's what you put in your about on the Facebook page and on the website and things like that for like the boiled down version. So let's maybe I'll just write that down and we can just weed through that.
Yeah.
We'll just cut through that one. So give it to me again.
It says, we need you to help create leverage.
We need, you to create.
Rather than we need you to help join with the.
So we're just gonna write it out and then we'll chop
Okay,
it. We need you to create leverage.
To bring truth and accountability back into politics.
Into politics.
Say back into politics.
Back into, my bad. Back into politics.
This is the creation of a movement
Is the creation of movement
of the common people to share, honor, and encourage
share, honor, courage.
the spread of truth in politics, our virtual march in Washington to help bring truth back into the political arena.
Into the local arena.
By signing this pledge to, sorry, this is less than it.
Signing this pledge,
To share, honor, and encourage the truth.
share, honor, and encourage the truth.
You can help create pressure on our politicians to do likewise.
All right. Some amount of space, but all right.
Well, let's Hemingway the first part, and then we can get the last sentence.
So let's go back to red.
A
So,
lot of this we can make more active
So-
language.
We need you to create leverage.
And I would change that just by
So
hitting,
So it's the who is what you said you were struggling with?
Yeah.
So let's go with the who.
we had that on the other sheet.
So
Nonpartisan.
Yeah.
nonpartisan, nonprofit, nonpartisan movement.
I think nonpartisan movement.
to join this nonpartisan.
So
Do we need with an emotional one? Terrible truth in politics or something?
Just the question.
That's the question we're going to start walking in.
Nonpartisan movement. I would take out common people. The common people.
nonpartisan, nonprofit to bring truth and accountability back into politics.
This is the creation of a movement too. So take out of the common people.
I don't think creation, like this is a movement. I don't know if creation.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is a movement.
Yeah.
Take it till we make it. That's awesome.
It's already,
It's already
the point is it's already here. Don't make it a creation. Otherwise they're like, oh, I don't want to start something.
This is a movement to share, honor, and
Yeah.
encourage. Share, honor, encourage, and spread, or share, honor, encourage the truth. The spread of truth in politics, okay.
The spread, so is the spread of truth,
Is the spread of truth a good way to say it?
I think spread, when we have a behavior for people to act in ways that share, honor, and encourage, that would be more taxing.
Value,
Move into share, honor, and encourage. Restore. So I'm hearing restore. I'm just going to write it up here.
So let me go back to the first one. We are nonpartisan movement to bring truth. I think accountability we don't need at this stage. Into politics.
Not accountability.
No, I don't think so. Not account. That's later.
So why not?
Because accountability is not there yet.
Although it is,
So it's not there yet, but
it is
so
a good attention grabber. Though.
so what do I get out of
Goal.
what do I get out of truth at the end?
Right. It's-
I get what I want is
what
accountability,
people-
right? That's what ultimately what we
Yeah.
want.
I think what we all want to know is who we trust.
Okay.
I mean, that's what, first, I think we need to have the stop them in their tracks question, followed by, if you want that, here's a way to do it. So what's the stop them in their tracks question?
I think it's just hi. Do you want to sign the Do you want to sign the pro-truth pledge? Do you care about truth in politics?
I used to think of one thing we put on our website to kind of actually help with this question. We changed the homepage recently. It said like something like, "Are you sick of politicians getting away with lying?" Like, it's like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
I think what we're working on right now, based on what's up there, is the identity statement.
I agree.
Like,
Once we
so-
get their
so, yeah,
attention, we
of
have to
course.
explain who they're listening.
We can build hooks out.
Yeah, I can
Different
come up with
hooks,
10 or
right.
12 hooks. That's
Depending on what situation.
Yeah.
You're right, so, okay. All right.
Bring truth and accountability back.
We don't have time for that.
I think that comes in later.
I think you lose me at life areas.
Yeah, I just, life areas.
Truth with counterfactual politics. This is a movement to share, honor, and courage.
Instead of this is joint.
By signing this, that you can join our nonpartisan, nonprofit movement to restore truth and accountability in politics. What if it starts out that way? Did you get rid of a lot of the redundancy?
You have a call to action. You have call to actions.
So I'm a firm believer that you want to ask for forgiveness, not ask for permission. So by saying like by signing this, you're really giving them an opportunity to get out and say, sign this if this is what you believe. Like,
it's in the sale.
yes.
Yes. So, yeah, call to action. And that's one. So we're not part of the movement to bring truth and accountability in politics. Join our movement to share on and encourage the truth.
And I say, join our movement to get politicians to share honor and encourage. Because that will be
Okay.
To bring truth and
get the whole
accountability into
behavior
politics.
portion, because it's so behavior oriented. We
Period.
want them to have truth oriented behaviors
Join our movement
to get politicians to share.
To demand that politicians. During our movement.
to push.
Push.
Maybe we need to make it more personal and active. Our movement
Or we are.
shares, honors, and encourages.
I think we want to join our.
But you said put the call to
Action
action
at the end. The join
And I
is the
agree
join
with
is
that.
the
The
action.
call to action comes after the convincing statement.
Okay,
So our movement. and
you
then
can join with us.
join
Your
yeah.
first step to joining with us is signing this first, which is gonna be the action.
Right.
So yes.
So at this
you just
point-
be saying our movement.
So we're not part of the movement. We already have that. Then we are devoted to getting we are devoted to pushing politicians.
This is we are our movement. Where do we go?
I
This
think
is
our movement and then action words like shares, honors, and encourages the spread of truth in politics.
I like that.
our movement.
Which is honors and purposes.
Yes, but change it from to shares, honors,
Our
which
movement.
matches up with the subject.
Our movement shares, honors, encourages the spread of truth in politics. So the spread of truth in politics, is this a good statement, spread of truth in politics? Or we have restore here? Is there a different approach you want to take?
restore it, well, like
I think
the,
a lot of people think it was never true.
Share, honor, and encourage. So how about share, honor, and encourage truth and politics? Just it's simple.
shares, honors, and encourages truth in
That's
politics.
fine, yeah.
Truth
Yeah.
in politics.
Maybe we can
Simpler.
behavior, say true for
Because it's too wordy.
you.
Yeah, you're gonna go over people's heads with that one.
So truth in politics.
Demands and honors truth.
Demand.
is so aggressive.
Well, that's what we hire these people to be our representatives. We have a right to demand that they be our.
Share, well, I think share, honor, and encourage.
Well, I don't want to just encourage it. I want to say you must.
I hear you, but we want to get there.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get further.
So here,
Yeah.
we can throw,
You're not wrong.
I'm sorry, the G7's got me particularly.
we can throw demand in there somewhere. So
Sure.
our movement,
Shares,
honors, encourages truth in politics
Sorry.
by what?
I honestly think, as cool as the image is, our virtual march on Washington is a left turn in the middle. And I'm not sure that that's direct to the point. Plus, it's not just Washington.
Yeah, that's true.
And that could be.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's a good set of words, but I think it's not specific to.
Maybe a place that would be
Yeah.
nice to use it.
So we want to,
Virtual
do you want to cut it? Cut it?
Yeah, I would, yeah, because I keep thinking about all the grassroots is where we're coming from. So it's like,
I actually think this is a good place to start a call to action, and I like the word help at the beginning. So just start with help bring truth back into the political arena by signing. There's your call to action.
Will you help? Yeah, will you help?
Or say help and hand them the pen as you're saying it, as you're going.
Yeah.
Help is one thing. What about join? I think this might be a good place to join because it's more community oriented.
I'm thinking something more like, are you gonna let us? You?
I think I like your attitude, and everybody in this room is a joiner, obviously. But I think I want people to sign up, and I'll convince them to join later. In other words, there's a whole lot of people that when they hear join, they hear work. And help, that's just a little push here and there, right? You can get, I think you can get people's attention with help, and they're okay with that, but join might push them away a little bit.
Or maybe, do you want to add your voice to those saying?
That's a fancier way of saying help, yeah.
Yeah, or you want to add your voice to the movement saying, this is, it's no longer okay.
So I think that we still have a mechanics issue here. So we're nonpartisan movement to bring truth and accountability back into politics. Our movement shares, honors, and encourages truth in politics. They're almost, they're like a synonymous
Yeah, we don't
statement.
need that.
So how are you have to give me like the how? Like, is it by mobilizing, you need like those action words you were looking for? Is it by, creating accountability? Is it?
By the incentive.
I like that.
That's where the pressure on politicians. Yeah, that's the pressure. I mean, it has to be help create pressure on our politicians.
By pressuring
By
politicians?
banding together to create pressure on them.
help us by banding together,
I think we don't need to get all the pressure politicians.
help pressure
Yes.
politicians.
But
You don't like banding together, uniting?
Sounds like joining us.
You can use unite as one of the action words. Unite.
That's the same thing as join. If we don't want to do that, help push politicians to,
do something to numbers, like our numbers.
Hold politicians accountable.
well, that doesn't,
Well-
it doesn't clarify how politicians are accountable. I think people are used to signing in order to help push politicians. So something like.
That's a good point.
So if you, help push politicians to care about the truth by signing pledge. And that leaves a very nice curiosity gap, because then people can say, how does it do that? and then you have a natural conversation.
Okay. We're going to ask, who are we going to push politicians to now send this to?
All,
Yeah, that was easy. All-
all of them.
All your,
If you become a government representative at any level, we expect this of you.
So, truth in politics by uniting together to help push politicians.
help push politicians to care about truth in politics. And stop lying.
The way they get votes is by lying.
Uh-huh.
The way they get votes is by lying.
Well, then you have the conversation. Because your goal is to have the conversation.
So how does the pro-truth pledge do that? In my mind, it builds an accountability mechanism is what you're doing.
Yes.
So it creates accountability by demanding that politicians adhere to the truth.
I mean, I think this is where, someone said adding your voice, right? So we're creating pressure on politicians by adding together all of these little voices. So that's why I think, I'm sorry, I can't read the board. It says,
Uniting together.
uniting together to help push politicians by adding your voice. And that's where you would hand a pen to them.
Yeah.
And then I can't read the rest of it.
Shares and honors encourages truth in politics by uniting together to help push politicians
Or just to push.
to push.
Or by, maybe it's by showing politicians. By showing politicians that what you're going to vote for is the truth.
Yeah, it's,
Not bad.
we want you to add your voice to this. Because it, like, when I first pitched this, what I was telling people is the more constituents that sign, prove to the politicians that you're watching. And if you're caught on a lie, you care. You as a voter care. And so, like, I obviously need to word that differently, but it's your voice pressures the politician. It's important.
So mobilizing constituents around the importance of the truth.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, it's too dirty.
So
I
what's
don't know. I think people understand all those words.
constituents is
That's a pretty common word. What
Well,
do you
let's
say?
have three
Voters?
constituents
Make it
and voters.
voters?
Would be.
because are we only talking to voters though?
No.
Well, there's.
I honestly don't know how much they matter.
Constituents that get represented. I mean.
So are you gonna preface it with, are you registered to vote?
I don't think we need to do that necessarily. We don't have to represent it as voters, but when we speak about voters, people.
How about, hold on. So I have a statement that's just 2 sentences. I'm trying to tear it down.
Yeah. Gotta be something we can memorize and say off the top.
We are not part of the movement to bring the truth in politics. Help push politicians to stop lying and hold them accountable.
That's a good way. It starts the conversation.
Yeah, how mu- I mean, really, when it comes down to it, how much are we going to be able to explain on the fly like that in a memorized statement? They're gonna have to read something to get it.
So it depends on how you're getting the signatures. Because if you're at a table and people approach you, they're expecting a
There's time, yeah.
conversation. It's a little bit harder when you're outside of a grocery store or on, those signatures are a lot harder because they have not planned free time to.
You're the impetus for the conversation.
Right.
They're not stopping by your table.
No,
That's a fair question. How are we planning?
and
So I would imagine it's like through festivals and the like that are coming up. You probably do some
I think
tabling,
there's
but
gonna be more time. And I mean, we're not gonna stand out front of the Capitol. Right?
so it's any
It's
political.
not bad.
It's what people tend to do. Like, you're sitting there.
You're right, Cameron, you know? Okay, demonstrate now.
It's like if you're over there, you know, it's like, hey, did you? Yeah, I care about lies in politics. Why? You know, and then you know somebody who is like kind of, you know, here's the edge of the table, and you're like, you know, and they're like over here, and they're like, yeah, and where Agnes is standing, Agnes say,
Well, like, hey, come talk to me. And I tried to catch your eye, and I tried to be like on the border of like creepy. And some people are trying to like keep more of a distance. And it's like I pass my table when I want someone to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I want to identify if that's that person. I don't want to pass them. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just staring into space. But I'm trying to see at what point they're trying to engage this person. Hey, you want to check this out? Or we try to have something on the table. Like, you want to stop lies? And I try to see if they're looking at that.
yes, exactly. So like that is the point where I think this thing says, hey, you care about truth in politics? You care about political lies in politics? We're not partisan movement to bring the truth into politics. Help politicians to stop lying. Help stop politicians from lying and hold them accountable by signing this pledge.
I think it's a good starter for specifically for the instances when you're in a crowd like these signatures and you need that quick pitch when someone's walking up to you. So I think that's the best condensed version.
Yeah.
Because at a table, like you can have a sign that says "Stop lies in politics." And that, even that just like the majority of people care.
Yeah.
That's what I seem like. That's the thing. It's not hard really.
I think it's tough.
This is one of the first things I collected. So nobody has ever been like, yeah, fuck the truth.
I mean, I really think people want this to change. They're all, but unfortunately, most people become that what we have to do is help them realize that they can be part of solving it, that they do have power. So.
Cool. Okay, so we are settling on, we are a nonpartisan movement to bring truth into politics. Help politicians to stop lying and hold them accountable by signing the pledge.
Do we have back into in there?
No.
Back into politics, not into politics.
We decided that we weren't sure people believed that there ever was truth in politics, so we're saying there ain't truth in politics.
Yeah, the wording on help, start with help.
Help politicians to stop lying.
Okay. I swear it sounded good. That's okay. That's
Cool. Okay.
So then we have,
a quick interruption. If you're tabling, as somebody who's been tabling it for commercial purposes for 25 years at conventions, don't stand behind the table, stand in front of the table, and watch people walk up to the table, and then walk up and start talking to them from beside them. Works so much better. If you are behind the table, and they are doing the action that you did as you walk by, reach out and hand them something. And they move towards you as they take it. Because as they move towards you, pull your hand back very slightly.
yeah, you almost want to drop it.
Yeah,
I work
create
at
momentum towards you.
Those are two little tricks that I learned.
Now when you go places where like a convention or a festival,
See people do it, and they will recognize.
When I work a clipboard, it's, hi, would you want to sign the pro-truth pledge? And like you almost want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're going to take this and I'm going to put it from the side, so you have to take it to be able to read it. I'm not going to go like this because I'm not going to be your podium. So it's like, hi, would you sign will you sign the pro-truth pledge? Hi, how are you today? Sure. So we are going to go over that in the role plays, but let's talk about objections. What are overcoming objections? What are some objections you think you're going to get?
Yeah.
Not possible.
Who even knows what the truth is?
So like, here, let's go with like, so all politicians lie. So what do you say?
Exactly. Let's change that.
Let's change that. So do you care about that? Do you care that all politicians lie? I think you should usually answer a question with a question because it's going to engage them. We're not necessarily in a position to educate. We want to continue to get them engaged and to get them where we want them. So all politicians lie. So what's the question we ask?
Is that okay with you?
Is that okay with you? What are some other ones that we might run into?
Yeah. So how do you know if it is the truth? Yeah. What do you, or even the question, what do you think the truth is? Because you're going to get people that are like, well, if you don't believe blah blah blah, then you clearly don't believe the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That could literally be
So what do you respond to? Well, how am I supposed to know what the truth is?
We have a definition of
The
truth.
answer for that is that this statement is based in things.
And we have 3 things that define the truth, and it's very narrow. It's either outright lies, like 2 + 2 is 5, scientific consensus, and the opinion of experts.
So,
Boom.
say that again. Outright lies,
Outright lies,
scientific
scientific
consensus.
consensus, and opinion of experts. Or fact checking, I'm sorry, those 2 things are the same.
So the scientific, yes.
Consensus and the experts is like the same thing, and fact checking website.
The experts, outright lie, and fact
It's
checking
just 3
websites.
things, it's 3 things.
Well,
Credible fact checking websites.
Yeah, we don't have opinions as to.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So,
We have scientific consensus, outright lies, and fact checking website.
credible fact.
Credible fact checking.
Okay. I'd say,
But we do have
I'd
those
say
3.
boil it down to the most simple.
We have 3
three
things,
things.
and it's just 3 things.
Okay. What are some other objections we think that we might run into?
Another question that proposed is, would you prefer the implied? If somebody says,
Okay.
I think
What are our universal acceptable fact checking websites?
We have them online.
I know.
Smell, solidified, fact check report, 18 fact check. and
Cochrane. Cochrane.
No, Cochrane is not fact check.
Oh.
Just a credible.
So,
Some people have
about
said, like, what about my right to free speech? They're like, well,
No,
we have-
as a response to a direct ask around, will you sign the pro-truth pledge? And they're like, well, what about my free speech?
Well, it's voluntary, and we're just asking for these 3 things, for you to just like try to stick to these 3 things, and the rest of the time you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
It's very limited, it's very narrow.
So they're asking, oh, no, you're saying that.
Well, yeah, it comes down to the transparency.
How do you, are you saying they ask the question, how do I follow the pro-truth pledge?
They don't want to be restricted, some people feel like this would restrict their rights to free speech.
Because it stops them from being able to lie. From being able to lie.
Well, yes.
I mean, I think.
But we don't represent the government, so technically there's not a free speech.
You're like, so we have
That's a
no,
little technical.
yeah, like, sorry, we have no, enforcement on you. We're just asking you to believe in truth.
It's not-
Well, for public figures, that's
No,
fine.
it's representative.
just like-
Yeah, if we just say it's a fact.
Yeah, that's not-
So, regarding that, I don't think we should be clear that while they would violate the pledge, share this information, we're asking for them to stick to the behaviors, the principles that are outlined in the pledge. So it's a little bit more than just don't lie. There are more things that we would like them to do. Just to be clear. And I think I'm very comfortable with telling them that, hey, you don't, if you want to lie, don't sign the pledge. If that's something you want to do, please don't sign the pledge. I don't want people to sign the pledge who want to lie. I don't want, we are a society, we do have certain rights to kill, murder, and steal from each other. So we under our social contract, we are limited within our rights. And we're further limiting ourselves and joining an even more exclusive society group who are committed to the truth and to these truth-oriented behaviors. And if you don't want to join it, I don't want you. You're, if you don't want to be a part of this group of people who care about the truth and are trying to change the truth in our society.
I don't know if I would want to use the language of. We're focusing.
Well, no, say, you can always say that's the factor on opinion.
Right.
It's clarified.
You can express any opinion you want, just don't confuse someone else by presenting it as a fact or truth when it's,
I
reality.
think that's the
It's
best way to put it.
Yeah.
It's
That's all we're asking,
very-
is what, it's, once again, it's that transparency piece. I mean, you can believe in a lot of things, but don't try to coerce other people into following your path by giving misinformation.
Mhm.
I try to raise my children by helping them understand, well, was that an opinion?
Only everybody that did that, it would not be having all these problems.
What are some other objections we might run into out there?
You want money?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yes, we're going to charge you $1.
Oh my gosh,
I know,
good.
I saw
Yeah.
that. Oh, God, so the lie jar.
So you want money? What do we say?
No, I mean, sure, we'd be happy to.
Like, I'll take your money.
That's what he's.
I mean, I'd make a joke out of it.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'll take your
Absolutely,
money.
we'll take your money, but you don't have to.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm really happy to take your money for this movement. The thing we value the most is
Yeah.
living by the-
That's out of bed.
Yep.
Yeah, be like, yeah, I'll take your money, but we're a nonpartisan nonprofit. I'd rather have your
I'd rather have your
support. I'd rather have your signature and your support.
Yeah,
We need numbers.
exactly.
The line jars that you're looking at. I think we should create a really
Just have a politician.
That's true.
Send the funds.
Yes.
What other objections do
We
you
can
think we're
throw
running
writers
into?
anonymous.
Are you one of those resistance people?
I like,
Yeah.
Yeah, are you-
I just actually
don't
want
want
to be an
Nazis.
objection.
We one of these are.
Are you one of those resistance people? Resisting lying?
no, I think we.
I don't think resistance is a good word there, yeah.
Yes, that's if we're looking.
Yeah,
Right.
Even though the-
We're trying to use for the truth. more than against.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I want to say we're not partisan, but we critique everyone, and we can specifically point to instances where we critique both conservatives and liberals, and we can give examples.
Yeah.
For example, have those examples. You know, we have clear examples where our content critiques both liberals and conservatives. It just happens to be the case of conservatives are much more right now, so we critique them more.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
so yeah.
Although I would not add that last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at that.
Oh, I thought they were left wing, I'd say.
I would just say I'd say we're a nonpartisan organization. We're more concerned about truth and accountability.
Our goal is to get politics, it's not about, it's about changing.
It's not about one party or another. It's about keeping everyone accountable.
Yeah, exactly.
Accountability and
If
truth.
the people on the left lie, it makes us all look bad in the process. It is not helping.
Last call on objections you think that we'll hear.
Why do you want address? We're asking people for their mailing address.
I think that's great.
No.
No, I think, well, how will this work, or will this work? Is another objection.
Honestly, like, when I was tabling, a lot of people like flat out told me, no, I don't want to join anything. So I know I don't want to join.
So the help would help be better than, because we're choosing to use the word help, will that help maybe?
I think if you're asking people to sign something, they figure that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one. Are you gonna call me all the time? Are you gonna jam up my email box? But are you gonna send me lots of emails and call me on the phone? But are you gonna send me lots of emails and call me
No,
on
we're
the
just
phone?
saying.
Only if you want us to.
Only if you want to. Yeah.
It's your choice.
Are you gonna call me all the
We
time?
have an option.
Like, we don't call anyways.
We do have a text alert
Okay.
option, so.
Let's not limit ourselves in the long run, maybe we will call.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, we-
That's
we
What
don't
we
need
need to say is you can choose from 0 to whatever level.
You can opt out now or they can sign it.
Yeah. Yes.
I think simply enough, but not if you don't want us to.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on in the future. We're trying to collect lots of information right now. Like with their address, we can look at those information who represents them. With their phone, we can call them if they want to volunteer or text them, with their email, we can send them.
Well, I think that is the answer about the address is so, politicians know, what constituents are joining.
And I think part of the problem with this is we know what the long-term goal is. But the objection I would have, and did until I heard him on the podcast, was how the heck are you gonna pull that off?
Yes.
I mean, why would I bother? You can't change this, right? And so that's an in-depth answer that takes a little time.
Yeah.
And really, I think we need to refer to the materials at that point and say, these are the long-term goals.
Well, they asked that question, they're interested in.
Yeah,
No, that's absolutely.
You have your hook. If
Yeah.
you have to seal this. You need to, yeah. It's a good problem to have. You should be sealing the deal at the end of that.
That's not.
Everyone else is almost.
So, you can always just do, say, sometimes have to interact with people on the chat, so I don't have time.
I was just like, that doesn't address the problem of I don't want to join something. Like
So you're-
they don't want us to contact them is a different thing. Like literally people say, no, I don't want to join anything. I don't want to sign up. I don't want to join it.
We're not gonna
Like
control
just
efficiency.
flat out. Okay. So
Be like-
it's just like,
Like, if you have to, if you
right,
think
okay.
about it like this, if you have to fight for them just to give your contact information, what's the likelihood that they're going to show up to a rally of someone who's a politician that's been a liar, or like contact the media, or like take the next step?
Or even follow the pledge themselves.
Yeah, or follow the pledge themselves.
So we're looking for people who are committed.
At the very least, would you like information on that? So that when you're considering, things that you're lending your support to or politicians, you can go and get that.
Or we can say, if you change your mind, here's the website. where you
Right.
can know.
Yeah, I think that's better. We don't want.
We don't want to alienate them either. We want a chance for them to come back. And that's the idea. So
Yeah, I think
Think
that-
about it, here's the thing.
you don't need to make anybody feel bad about this if they're not ready.
You can sign up with Mark.
Yeah, I think very comfortable with it. And that's
I think most people want to at least know if there's, information that, or a place they can go to verify information because they're overwhelmed by what they're doing too.
And that also, if we do give them something to take away, that gives non-social people
Right.
that don't even want to talk to you really, the way out.
I do
They
live
can
in
come back
Iowa.
later, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk targets before we do goals. I don't know if we're gonna have time for role plays. Our semantics conversation
We
kind of
all
went
have
off
to
the
be
rails.
out of here by 8:30.
Kind of went off the rails.
So what are some targets that you guys want to try to hit in say like the next couple of months?
Where are
Well, we have 600 plus signatures. We are going. So we're going to the March for Truth here in Columbus. We have a couple other March for Truth speakers there. And so we'll be doing that.
Idea what turnout's gonna be.
At the March for Truth.
100?
150 probably, something like that, 200. Then we have, we're that people will be another 20 last meeting. So that's going to be good. We'll do that this in July. And, huh?
Conference?
So, yeah, we should take a look at that and investigate that.
I don't know if you're going to get a table.
Wyland Park has a festival coming up. I will,
Contest,
have my roommate as well.
Island Park Fest.
Great, thank you very much.
What other fests do we got going on?
There's Pride.
Pride.
We try to they didn't give us a table.
Anybody want to march and do that?
So there's doodah. So even if you can't get a table, if you have a clipboard and you have stuff, you can just work the crowd that way and do like the training is designed for someone who's not necessarily tabling, who's like really just out there pushing it to see what they can do.
So Pride, we said doodah.
Is there any way for you to get a table at, OSU's, opening, every school year, at the beginning of the school year, they have like their giant tabling, the activity fair. That might be a good place, for not only signatures, but also volunteers. Because you're a nonprofit, nonpartisan, I mean, you could literally reach out to both the Democrat and Republican OSU parties and see if they'd be willing to be an active participant.
Plus, I mean, any groups like that we get to sign on, they're going to start spreading that. as part of their movement.
I was just thinking
We
we
need the exponential contacts.
should look for like-minded organizations,
Yeah.
like skeptics organizations. The atheist group from campus would be interested in that kind of thing.
Humanist group might be interested in that as
Humanist
well.
society down here.
Did you follow up with Derek?
No, he has not contacted me yet. I can reach out again. I'm pretty active. I'm not part of the humanist group, but I have many friends that are part of that.
Yeah, and to what extent, I guess, like the bigger picture is that like right now we're just in Columbus. We want this to be in be having these meetings in multiple places and coming up with these lists and watching this video and kind of learning this
Well,
little spiel
And
all
along that
over.
lines, I mean, maybe we need to be focusing on places where we know other movements started or where they're likely to spread from. So here we are, technically kind of in the Midwest, and what are the cities that either ends of the country
Well,
help those movements so with it can kind of.
You talking about podcasts, right?
Yes, so this is kind of strategy using I'm writing on my head right now, so I'm going to figure out printers in that way from radio shows and people hear about them. So that's kind of strategies that we're using.
Can I say?
If you can send me their contact emails and things. Please.
You know how to.
Yeah, I'm going to go on this one.
Okay.
Yes, so then it happens through kind of networks and so on. So in terms of what people can do, we have people already here who went to like Rotary clubs and gave presentations in Rotary clubs. But Rotary clubs are notoriously like known to be conservative organizations. Conservative meeting. That's the presentation Hilliard Conservative, Rotary Club, which is very district affiliated. And the presenter got 25% of the membership percent. For
That's awesome.
so, and this is a place where Federa is going to be presenting in a couple of months.
Yeah, I don't think we should underestimate the interest of the right in something like this.
Well, I think, once again, I think it's the politicians, not the actual
Yeah.
constituents from either side.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. We need to think about these.
So I was gonna say like churches, we do
Yeah.
outreach to churches, like the
Or like
moral, the moral,
interfaith groups and then.
the moral argument for,
There's also,
faith in public life.
yes.
You already talked to them?
No.
Faith in public life. Bread probably won't move it, building respect.
Yeah, I
Nobody
definitely,
can-
when I went to the bread meeting.
They probably won't move it. They don't work on just about anything that's not theirs.
They do allow some people.
They allow people to canvas outside of the
They
meeting
do.
when 2,500 people come in.
For the,
They're
the Nehemiah action.
Yeah, you just
So
have
that
to
was-
work with them.
That just happened in May.
It just happened with the next year.
But what I'm saying in general, like Bread is not going to take the petition
No,
and
they're
move
not.
it themselves.
But they will allow you to stand outside and try to get 2,500 people to sign it. If your canvassers haven't had it.
So I think in the shorter term, that's kind of the longer term.
Yeah, so-
We also want to be going to politicians and sign the pledge, and also journalists and media figures and so on. So we have someone who is going to be meeting with Federa soon to ask Federa to sign the pledge. We will be doing our second thing with Portman at this March for Truth. We'll be going to his office, asking him to sign the pledge. So also these.
And I'll buy you a beer if you get Portman to sign.
I don't know.
Here?
I was gonna say, I think you should buy him a brew.
It's a phrase.
Yeah.
So around the country, we'll try to get, okay, Democrats sign it, Travis Green Party sign it, okay, try to
It's
get
a
them.
good way to pressure, yeah, especially.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. If your opponent is signing a pledge and you're not.
Yeah, just waiting my life, right?
So does anybody go to like the Greek festival, the Italian
I do,
festival?
I go to every festival that I possibly.
Are you guys trying to make a concerted effort to pledge all of them?
In the fall, that might be an interesting one. I go to that. on a
Which
regular
one?
basis, too. The Renaissance Fair, it's an hour out.
It's down by Cincy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can I ask, who here goes to
If I have money, I go, but the only ones I really go to are Whitney, Comcast, Target, and Response Fair.
okay, and who here, raise your hand.
Occasionally,
Okay.
rarely.
Okay. I don't know. So.
If I know about them, I go to them.
Yeah.
I know what the little.
Can we have a committee of people who are festival goers who collaborate in
Maybe we should.
I don't go often.
Okay, who would be willing to do this? Coordinate. No,
It's supposed to look at this, any greater
I know you're.
professional job.
You're busy in charge.
I can't promise to do a long-term thing, but I can definitely collect like those summer festivals and attempt to do an hour or two. To them to just do some canvassing.
I think
What are
he's
you
asking
picturing,
for is
like,
who's gonna organize the
something-
committee.
I would say-
We need somebody to organize the
I
committee.
will remind you.
Yeah, well, I will gladly participate. That's like,
Okay.
so if you can reach out to the group elsewhere to run the committee, I will gladly show up and do a couple hours of canvassing.
Yeah, and where I am right now is table. Any event that I can. I think I'm very good.
My problem is my time is so rare. I'll show up and help. And you'll find that I'm the kind of guy who shows up early, leaves late, sets stuff up. I'll help with that kind of stuff, but I can't run a committee. Not right now.
I don't really get it, but a festival I go to is a lot more than that every year.
Can you manage other people who are doing that? Who are going to, how are you coordinating?
How do I do that?
Do you have the space for the people? Agnes, do you want to coordinate people?
I cannot. We'll have to find someone else.
So I'll put together the dates for all this stuff and,
Well, we also have some people who have signed up for one.
Yeah, and that's
So we'll
maybe
be
a
able
question
to-
with the group of people that have volunteered already. You know, put that out there.
We can have it as a next step. Like,
Yeah.
we don't, it's okay for people to be able to say no, because a lot of people are very committed, but it's good to have, like, okay, we're gonna look until we find this person who has experience coordinating people. A lot of times people have experience coordinating people, okay, you're always on the spot and you're like, writing time for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is, one, I have a contact, a municipal judge that I know that is heavy into the Democratic Party, and I could work on her and other methods there. And I know people who are gonna support this, and now that I wanted to show up here and say, all right, what's this organization doing? Are you guys organized or not? And if you are, I can add people in. And I'm gonna go start talking to people I know. So I'll send people your way. That's something I can do in spare time here and there.
I'll put together the dates.
So we have, so we need to get people for this. Paper, which we later,
So do we are we doing a table on this March for Truth?
We are doing just signature gathering.
We're doing clipboards.
Yeah.
But at March for Truth, we'll have 3 speakers, and 2 of them will be wearing a shirt like that and saying sign this. So it will be much easier.
Yeah, please.
I'm getting ready to like put on mascara and like fly. This is not a joke.
Well,
Especially with.
well, I think if possible, we should have anybody who's holding wearing.
If they have it.
So how quickly can we get those?
We would have had to order them like on Monday. Yeah.
This is gonna be a little easier because we will be, there'll be like a push from the podium or whatever. But in the future, that's an easy way to like wear a shirt.
We'll get me a shirt.
I'll get us a shirt. Yeah.
So, and anybody else here who wants a shirt to wear for future events?
Do you guys want to set goals for like by the end of the summer? How many you want? You're at 600 now. Do you want like break 1,000? Like,
So,
Well, I was thinking more like 5,000.
yeah,
Let's be ambitious.
let's set Columbus goal because there are other people who are around the country. So we want to make sure we're measuring because we're measuring.
Right. That makes,
So let's set the Columbus goal. What do we want for,
well, the 600 now, were they all Columbus?
no.
How long did it take you to get to 600?
It took us March to March. Yeah. And so how many do you think, yeah, I don't know how many we have in the box. But,
We're talking the end of July or the end of August? Oh,
I was thinking, Labor Day. That to me is the end of summer.
I mean, at the rate you're going now, we should be able to hit 1,500 pretty easily.
Well, let's see what
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, we would need to know.
Oh, wait, you said
I think
600
we need to know how many, is in Columbus, so that we know how
Yeah.
many proportional to the number of homes we have.
You guys get tabling.
I got 100.
And how many hours?
Like work. Yeah, this wasn't even work. Then I got like what, 70 some more at the
In like an hour.
activist fair.
Or 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a half an hour before and a half an hour after.
So you guys see fire.
So that's 225. So I would think at least 300 of those signatures.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
You know, if we know we got 225 of those, and there's probably been, you know, here and there, other ones from Columbus, so. I'm serious, let's shoot for 5,000 by Labor Day. I mean, for just Columbus. Yes, okay. We don't make our goal, but we gotta.
Fair point.
make it. We're not gonna.
We're not gonna get 5,000 if we don't try.
let's say 5,000. We'll just be doing it as a stretch goal.
Yeah.
This one really on goal. Should we set? I would
What would
also-
look like all these festivals are coming in.
I want to also set separately a goal of politicians.
Okay. How many do we have now?
We have in the Columbus area something like 6 maybe. So we have the 2 Democratic candidates for District 12. We have Melissa Wild. I mean, no, definitely 3.
Well, so
Which I guess it takes a whole separate process to get a politician. You don't stand on the school board.
yeah.
You call, you email them, you visit
Right.
multiple times.
Yes, and the other question is how many politicians?
I think you're probably gonna have a better chance of getting a politician if you have a lot of their constituents on
Yeah,
board.
I think the signatures
You can
growing are the key to the
anything
politics.
the second step could be, I signed for 3 places, I signed the petition to have my politician sign the petition.
Right.
It's all the same thing. You sign them all at once.
2 and 1, yeah.
Okay.
My signature is that you've signed it.
I
or
will aim
also-
to do these things and I want my politicians to sign on to try to do these things. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So the more
So I really
general
think the
public-
5,000 is the primary goal.
Yeah, like
If we
this.
get to 5,000.
Yeah, that's where your leverage comes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I think that.
and we figure out what districts are they in, and we go after those
You
politicians.
just start to target.
Yeah.
and-
Well, I think we probably do want to both at the same time because giving the politicians helps give credibility to the budget and actually get politicians.
Well, let's give them an incentive then. Let's give them an incentive to sign early. Let's say you sign early before we bring you signatures of your constituents, and you can say, this was important to me, even without my constituents pressuring me. You can be in the first wave. The second wave is for politicians who sign after their constituents had a growing number.
So when
And, you
you
know.
talk about the different approaches, you're talking about mailing or calling or whatever the politicians repeatedly, what you're talking about is what in sales you call a call progression. First call is a basic informational call, and we want you to do this. The second call is a twist their arm one way, and we want you to do this. The third call is a twist their arm a different way. And you just keep doing it a
Right.
different way every time, and eventually somebody breaks, and they, in this case, sign.
It's what we call escalation.
Yeah,
in a-
yeah,
in a
yeah.
It's kind of like a major sale.
You just do it differently until you get one that works. Yeah.
I think politicians know what that's gonna mean for their reputation. I say we call it what it is. Do you want to do this just because the truth matters to you? Do you want to put this on your agenda, or do you want to wait until we come back with signatures?
I think I'm talking to a couple of, well, one of the things that Russell Brand, who's one of our advisors, was giving a politician benefits, as, certain benefits, saying that, hey, if you, getting the very clear benefits of having a pitch targeted at politicians, it would be like we're targeting a pitch here, we want to target a pitch at politicians, so that would be something that could be worked out later. What kind of pitch do we want to target at politicians? Do you want to do it out of the goodness of your heart? Doesn't seem to most of it.
And we have some ideas.
I just wanted to specify that was a later conversation, and we're still focusing on goals right now.
So we
So do we have a?
Well, I'm sorry, I brought this up because I was part of the politician.
Yes. Do we want, let's say, politicians? And then some more politicians?
That sounds good.
10
Yeah.
more.
Well, how
So we
many-
would have 16 total.
How many are there in Columbus? Do we have any idea? How many?
Oh,
Because we have
local,
county, city council.
We have-
board
No,
members.
I understand that. I just don't know what that actual numbers is in our.
You're probably at over 100.
Probably over
Over.
Between like city councilmen and any elected position, judges and everything, you're talking easily over 100.
Yes, I think candidates who are running for figures.
That's just a Democrat.
That's just a
It's probably a Green Party, it's probably something else. We'll get them too.
So we can do plus.
Yeah.
That sounds-
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, I would definitely reach out to any Green Party.
Well, I mean, I was trying to get a percentage in my head, that's what I was asking. So, like, there's at least 200
Yeah,
in office.
Oh, in office, probably. I mean,
He was saying about 100 in office.
Over 100.
Yeah.
All right. So if there's over 100 in office,
Mhm.
if we got 20 by the end of the summer, we have potentially 20%.
Sure, 20.
Just try to, because, you know, it just sounds different when you say that. So I'm just
I
trying to
like,
get us
I
to-
like, I think getting 10%.
I mean, if we get 10 more, we're at 16, and that's almost 20%.
But we can also go by district, like in District 12, of all the candidates that the conference signed it, that we can, when we break
You
it
say we have
down,
100% of this district.
Yeah.
like everyone signed it except you, very.
Yeah.
Wow, that's what I'm saying about you, Neil.
Let's assume everybody's signed. We've got a mechanism for holding them to it.
We have the. It's basically, we tell them.
Okay.
And also, we'll start putting together a list, we can also say what date people signed it. So that later, they can be like, like, okay, like, tons of people signed it, hopefully they can have first a database, like, it could be. At some point, we'll people say what date you signed it, like, don't you want to be earlier
Right.
on the list?
So all I'm saying is if you think there's 100 or more and we're already at 6, we're only going to shoot for 10, well, let's shoot for 14, try for 20%. And if everybody in this room, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, picked a politician, a different politician to focus on, that's over half that goal right there. And then they just find among the other groups.
So your problem is that I'm not going to, as a politician, I'm not going to talk to you if you're not one of my constituents.
Well, I bet they're not in the same districts.
But I'm saying if 8 of you each pick a different politician, you might have some different.
Let's
But we want,
Organizing-
10 is good.
Yes, let's go with that. I wanted to talk a little bit about techniques, because I want to make sure we.
So the techniques is basically the role plays. So you obviously want to pick the prime times people are going to be at these events and at these festivals. You want to be in a high traffic area. You want to smile a lot. You want to be assertive. And you want to, lots of eye contact, be friendly, take a shower before you go,
Wear the t-shirt.
wear the t-shirt, things like that. Be direct, be prepared, have your pens with you, have like proper signature or your petitions or the pledges that are ready to go. All that kind of goes into the role plays. Usually, in this case, we would have somebody knock on the door, and basically you just have to get me to open the door and take the clipboard from you. And I just give you objections.
You drop this, here you go.
Anything
Oh,
like,
what, wait, no, you didn't drop that, that's mine.
so I would do
You wanna
everything,
sign it?
everything in
House.
everything in my power to basically break your composure and we're not into. So it kind of just toughens people up a little bit to do it. If anybody wants to do it, we can do it, but we're already past 8:30, so it's up to you.
How are the folks do you want to?
Yeah, I can do a couple of role plays if somebody wants to.
Sounds like she's got.
I gotta get that one right.
Who is interested in role plays?
I don't have a script memorized.
You just went through an hour. It sounds like you want to volunteer.
I mean, I do role plays all the time, so I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but I normally have a script that I've already memorized when I do them.
There's it was supposed to be like 40 minutes committed to it, which they would give people the time, but our pitch conversation semantics of it got a little out of hand, and so it's okay. It's
You're gonna
okay.
get that script to us, right? Okay.
I'll
By the time
type
March comes around, I'll have it memorized, I'll be ready to go.
I'll type notes up and pass them on to Gleb, and
Really, I mean, I've done canvassing before, but it doesn't sound like,
Is there a potential of maybe?
well, we do have the Columbus meeting once a month.
Yeah.
So that's
So
what,
that's
we can put that on.
Sunday.
That's just Sunday.
Yeah, so that's Sunday at 4, so for everyone here, who is one of the organizers.
That's the debrief, right?
That's the debrief and organizing meeting. So Sunday-
That would definitely be a time to do role play,
Yes.
once you have the.
We'll just do our best on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Sunday should be easier because we already have speakers.
The end of the speech will be like.
Are you coming Saturday?
Yes.
The
I'm
sound of
putting
the
it-
clipboard is
Saturday, and I'm coming, one click signatures.
And some people were not here also.
And you said you're worried about
$500 or so.
protesters of some sort?
Yeah, there's some.
There's council protesters.
Yeah.
Council protesters.
We approve of all that.
I'll talk to you after that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for understanding while I
Sure, of
try
course.
to survive this.
It's a lot.
During the whole life.
Huh?
Do we know what
Yes.
time it is?
Stop this. You had no Zoom. Stop that.
Okay, thank you folks for joining in. This was great. Thank you. All right, signing off now. Bye-bye.
Bye, nice to meet you.